What's going on, world, and welcome to another episode of Drunk Mind Sober Thoughts. I am one of your hosts, Rob.
And I am Zay. Don't play in the building. What's going on, everybody?
What's going on with you?
Man, today was very different. I started my routine like I have been for the past couple of days, but honestly, I had to check myself today. Yeah. There was a situation at the job where gave someone permission for me to get out my character and feed me bad energy. I didn't have to do it, but I acted on emotion instead of just removing myself from the situation, and it kind of ruined my mood at work for a while. And so I had to check myself on them. Like, they did this and this and this, but it went back to a previous episode where, like, no, you gave them permission to do that because you acted on that. You didn't have to be in that situation. And so I had to get myself in line and remember, like, Zay, you control your emotions, not other people. You choose how you react, not other people. So I had to deal with that. But after I was able to get myself aligned, I had a better day. My day after that was okay. It was decent. I got some good feedback about people who were listening to the podcast and say they really like it, and it's dope that they're hearing two different perspectives, and they love you. They love you. I'm just gonna say that. I love Rob. I love him. He is so funny. That's all I was hearing. But yeah, that's how my day went. How about yourself, bro?
That's good. I appreciate that. First, that's dope that people are responding to what they're hearing, and I definitely received that. My day was good. My day was actually very interesting. I woke up today feeling good, feeling good. I had an experience that I've been praying for. I have been asking God to allow something to happen. You know, I asked him, you know, before I leave, can you do me a favor? And it's funny, when it was presented to me, I was kind of nervous because I was like, man, like, even though it's funny, someone said to me a while ago, they said it's interesting when we pray for something, when God actually gives it to us, we think of 1,000 reasons why we don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like, and it wasn't that I didn't want it, because, but it's funny, in my head, I thought it was going to go a whole other way, right? And while I was experiencing it, it was actually a really dope exchange, a really dope exchange. So I was like, man, like, this actually went better than I expected. Like, but I mean, that shows the power of God. God actually has he has a way of doing something. So that was dope. That was real dope.
So it happened in the way you wanted to, or the way you. Let me say it right. Did it happen the way you expected it to happen, or did it go totally left?
It went. So I asked for a certain result, and it's funny because what I prayed for, I said, you know, can you give me this? And I'm okay with it going left. I'm okay with it actually being not so bad. But anyway, can you give me this experience, right? So in my mind, I had already premeditated that it may not go good, right? But it's funny because when he gave me the experience, it was like, oh shit, like this this is going way better than what I thought. But I also believe that the same way God is working in my life, he's working in other people's life too. So I have to understand, like, even though there's multiple journeys going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like that experience showed where we aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it was interesting. It was almost like, I don't want to say it's like a, I don't even want to say what I what I was thinking, but I'll just say, like, things went as planned,
Gotcha.
and better than I planned it also. So God granted me the experience, but also he gifted me the presence of him in the room. So I was like, oh wow,
That's
like, this is
dope.
crazy. And it was some honesty, like some real deep honesty, where it was like some stuff that usually would have, like, kind of like hurt my feelings. It
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, like, I could respect that. You know what? I could respect that. So it was dope. It was dope.
That's good,
It
bro.
was a dope exchange.
That's good. That's all you that manifestation you've been doing, bro.
It's been let me tell y'all something. If y'all don't believe in manifestation, y'all need to get up on it, because man, like,
I'm starting to think.
things have been happening crazy for me.
I think that's your superpower. Like
Gee,
for
I
real.
hope so. I hope so, because I had I think I had told in another episode that I had recently we had talked about my jewelry line,
Yeah.
and I had sent it out to some people. So I had sent it out to Queen Naija and her boyfriend Clarence. And then I had sent some items to somebody else
Mm-hmm.
in LA. And what's so crazy was, if I may be honest, like, I knew that Queen and Clarence didn't receive the product. In my head, I know that they got the package, but they didn't go to their PO box to get it. The
Yeah.
other dude, he had confirmed that he had got it, but he didn't give me feedback. So y'all know, when you want a motherfucker to give you feedback, you waiting for it. So I waited. I waited a month.
Mm.
I waited literally a month, and one day, and maybe 6 hours. And I'm like, this dude, you know what? It's okay. Okay. Now you told me you got it. Like, I need you to give
Open
me
it.
give me something. But I feel like he opened it, but he just never got back to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you gonna hear from me. But I prayed on it, and I led with gratitude. So it was more or less like, thank you for this opportunity once again. But any feedback will be great. I said a little more than that, but that's the room of where the message
Yeah.
was.
Gotcha.
And I had said that I was on the phone with you that night, and was like, okay, I wrote this message. He better get back to me, or it's gonna be smoke. Like, it's gonna be smoke.
Verbatim.
Like,
Verbatim.
I had went to sleep, woke up to the message of Clarence showing my product on live. Now, I know God works, but I didn't know he worked that goddamn fast. I thought I was in line. I thought I was ticket number 25. But I guess I was ticket number 2. Because when they was like literally, I looked at his live and I looked at the replay. I swiped forward because it was like a hour and 30 minutes. I'm like, I'm not about to watch all that. I swiped forward, and literally, let me show you how God works. Where I stopped, I saw my product in the frame. I went crazy. I couldn't believe it, but I knew it was God. Like, I was like, gee, stop playing with me. Like, sometimes you gotta tell God, stop playing with me, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but what I'm saying, if you want to keep, pouring, that's cool too. But I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, I didn't think that he was gonna move that fast, but you know, I'm telling y'all, God is listening. He is listening.
Man, call my phone yelling at the top of his lungs.
Gee, I went
Go on.
crazy.
He saw it.
I couldn't even watch the video. I literally paused it, called Zay, and was just like, I can't watch it right now. I was just like,
Hung up the
that's
phone. And you hung up the phone. I'm about to go watch it right now. Now I'm gonna watch
Jay. Jay. I
it.
had to get that off me. I was super geeked. Super geeked. So that was my week's been good. I've been super grateful. Packing on got a little better.
That's what's up. That's
No,
what's up.
I mean a little bit. I mean, I just
Hey,
looked around. I
that's
mean,
progress, bro.
I am literally under 30 days. And I gotta pull some magic because this is not going as planned. I'm gonna be honest. This is not going as planned. But I'm in the crunch, so it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I already know it's gonna happen. Whatever.
Man, so I'm gonna tell you again, congratulations on that. Like for real, for real.
On what
Cause
again?
on your jewelry, dude. That's what
Oh, the jewelry. Okay,
I'm
okay. I'm
just
like,
saying
what are we talking?
congratulations again on that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate
No,
that. Cause
because I listen, I know the hard work you put into that and the pieces you were making,
yeah,
and then you're like, I think this is good. It should be good. Then like, no, I'm gonna try to make one better and try to one
yeah,
up yourself on each piece you were making to try to believe it would be good. And then got out. You was like, you know what? Whatever I got, I'm just gonna send out to him. I'm
yeah.
sick of restarting and thinking this one's gonna be the next one. The next one's better than the next one. I'm gonna send it out and see what happens. And
Well,
then
it's different when you have a customer. Like I'm used to customers having a vision, and then we go through the patterns
yeah,
because each gemstone have a different meaning to it, but also there's something behind the pattern of it. So a lot of people don't understand until I explain that to them. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I think that by you just wanting to give somebody something, what I had to do was it wasn't just me making an item and shipping it to somebody. This is me actually figuring out, I'm looking at his YouTube page and being like, okay, what does he believe in? What direction is he going? I'm not just somebody that just do something.
yeah.
Like me and the team, we actually try to figure out where do it sound like they are in their life right now and where can they improve, because each gemstone have a meaning behind it. So we don't want to give you something, and that makes it even more unique.
And more personal.
Yeah, more personal. So, and I went through layers of, okay, what colors do I see them in? What will match this type of outfit for them?
Yeah.
And it's a lot. We don't play with the brand. You know what I'm saying? If we do it, we come in correct.
And the
So
fact that I remember you telling me the stones you chose to use aligned
yeah,
with everything that he was doing.
yeah.
Everything.
They didn't just look good. It was just
Yeah.
more or less like the meaning behind it. And then writing out the affirmation so that you could feel it, like, and not just looking at each necklace, like figuring out the affirmation of us speaking directly to you and then writing a thank you note. It's like layers to
Yeah.
this. You know
And
what I'm saying?
listeners,
So
I'll tell you this. The affirmations are made individually. When I say that, everyone is different, everyone
yeah,
is unique and tailored to the person. So it's not just some recycled affirmation.
yeah.
Everyone is different.
Unless that's what you want. And that'll make my job a little easier. I'm cool with that too. You know what I'm saying? Like shit.
Man, I watched it. I was like, yo, couldn't tell my dog nothing.
Yeah.
Big boss status. Couldn't tell.
Remind you, in COVID, I was sick as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Still trying to, you know, sharpen my craft. So
Yeah, I definitely commend you on that. I was thinking about something today, and I remember you brought it up earlier in the day for us. And you were speaking on um, your purpose.
yeah,
And what that got me thinking about is what is my purpose in life? That I'm at a stage where I am on my own personal journey and trying to figure things out. And I'm kind of there with figuring out what it is, but I'm not all the way there. I know a portion of my purpose, which is, being the best father I could be for Grayson, your son. Um, I have to throw that in there, listeners. Trust me, I do. I gotta say that every time. But I feel as though where I'm at, I'm in the process of developing and finding my purpose. I think that part of it, is wanting to kind of bring my family together and wanting to be and trying to help people gather together. And when I say that, I mean like, um, when like event, not I wouldn't say event planning in a way, but
Mm-hmm.
in a way where everybody's together in one spot and it's nothing but a good vibe, whether it be friends or family or even associates. I feel like that's part of my purpose in life, but I know there's something deeper than that I'm trying to figure out within myself.
Let me ask you a question. Do you?
Yeah.
So you say you know are you saying that you know what your purpose is, or are you
No,
saying that you don't know what your
I'm
purpose is?
saying I don't excuse me. I don't fully know what my purpose is.
Okay.
I know bits and pieces of it, but I do not know it in totality.
Okay. So for me, if someone was to ask me what is my purpose,
Yeah.
I think my purpose in life um is to serve.
Mhm.
Um I think that one thing that I've experienced with a lot of my different relationships is that I am a resource to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, um, I can assist in actually, like, I don't know. I feel like where I am now, the type of resource that I am is I share my experiences with
Mhm.
people. That's what my resource is. Before, um, and purpose is kind of interesting for me because I'm a I'm a fixer. So what that means for me is I thought serving was enabling
Mm.
and I got it mixed up at one point. Like I was the type of person that I just like, if you don't know how to do it, I'll just do it for you. And then later on I learned that that's not servicing. Like just because it's getting done don't mean that it was your mission to do it. You actually enabling the person from now. If you know how to do it, you should teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that what I was doing was really enabling. But I think now I share my experiences, and I think that's a lot more easier, and it was a better balance because for a long time I was enabling, and it was actually killing me.
Mm.
And
Wow.
oh man, I think and I think killing me in so many different ways, like enabling as far as like not just doing something for somebody, but um taking blame.
Mm.
Um
When
um
you when you say taking blame, you mean like putting it on yourself instead of the other person?
Absolutely. Um being in a situation where um because of what somebody else was doing for me, how they were servicing me, keeping their hands clean. And I felt that the service that I could provide for them
Mhm.
was keeping their hands clean. I guess I could say.
Yeah.
So I have dealt with I have dealt with purpose in a way where it has been a gift and a curse for me. I actually started a business in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, I enjoy being people's personal assistant,
Yeah.
but that was that was more than I could chew. Like for real, I didn't know what that entailed. I knew that I needed to be of service, but it went to levels of
Overwhelming.
deeper than that.
Wow.
It wasn't just overwhelming. It was the manipulation, or
Wow.
it was bad. It was bad. But I thought that that was of service. I'm like, I'm supposed to serve, and by any means necessary. That there was no level.
Mm.
So I think now what I'm learning is that I don't have to how do I say, I don't have to service in a way where it depletes me.
Got you.
Now I'm in a place where and I've been here for a while, like I love helping people and assisting people even if I don't get the shine for it. Like I don't have to be in the front seat.
You okay with being you can shine in the background.
Yes.
Got
But
you.
I have to be in the passenger seat.
Got you.
I don't want to be in the back seat. I want to be in the passenger seat.
Explain that to me. What you mean by that?
So I feel like you could be the star,
Yeah.
but also I have to feel appreciated.
There it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want you to look back for me. Look on, I'm right on the side. We're equal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So just as much work as you are putting in being the star, I'm putting just as much work making sure that the star could be a star.
Because I'll say this personally, from personal experience, the experiences you share are literal tools. They're literally tools that anybody could use, and I think they have been honestly helpful in a lot of ways for me,
Yeah.
um, good or bad. And when I
Yeah.
say good or bad, I mean what you choose to share and how honest you are, with what you share. I think those are the two biggest tools that I see when you share with me the honesty and the openness. Yeah, this is what happened, and this is what it was. So
Yeah.
with what I shared with you, how are you going to use that? I think that's one of the greatest tools you have within sharing your experiences.
Well, I feel like honestly, what a lot of people don't realize is the life that we live is not for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it is for us, but I think part of it for us to help someone that comes behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when we don't share, we have to also remember that there was somebody that helped us.
Do you feel like we kind of lose sight of that when we learn the tools and kind of try to move forward?
Hell yeah. I feel like a lot of times it's because we're not ready. We're not
Mm,
ready to accept where we are. I mean, I've dealt with that so much
yeah.
and I'm still working on that. I mean, there's some things um that I've experienced that I'm like, I'm not comfortable with sharing that,
Mm-hmm.
but I know how to navigate it in a way where it's like I can give you the message, but I may not want to be so personal. And I
Yeah.
don't and I don't feel like that's bad. I feel like I don't have to tell my true Hollywood goddamn story, but I feel like just giving lessons of what I learned in an experience or to still get the message across, I feel like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. I say that there's boundaries in what, people decide to share. And that was one of the lessons you've been drilling into me, honestly. Um, Nobody needs to know your whole truth until you're ready to tell your truth. And
Absolutely.
sometimes certain things you need to keep to yourself because they're for you and only you.
Yeah. I was literally just talking to a friend and they were going through a situation. And one thing that I had told them was, why do you feel like you have to? And I'm like, I'm not saying you do or don't, but why do you feel like you have to express that to the world?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that the friend told me was, well, I feel like they're going to find out anyways. And I was like, okay, but you don't have to give it to them on a platter. And what is you telling them? What is it going to do for them? And what is it going to do for you?
Yeah.
Because by you just opening the door to the world, like, are you ready for judgment? Can you handle that?
That's one of the things you tell me. Yes,
Like, real
sir.
shit, because everybody
That's
don't go
true.
through the same shit. So are you ready for judgment? Have you processed what the fuck you went through? That'd be my biggest thing. Like, before you give it to the world, have you processed this experience that you just had? And a lot of times people don't, but they feel like, well, let me get it to them because I'd rather them hear it from me. But it's like, gee, what exactly are you telling them? Do you even know what you're telling them? And I
Yeah.
feel like we get so caught up in feeling like we have to explain everything. But understand, when you put that out, you got to be careful of what's going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And what comes back, you can't be mad for somebody else's experience and how they bring their experience into yours because you put it out there.
Yeah.
You don't owe everybody an explanation about your life, I believe.
That's honestly, yeah, I feel you on that. Because I say, like I said, that's the main thing that I'll tell you. Okay, side note, guys, about me. I am one of those people that tells a lot more than I should. I will say that. I am one of those that tell a lot more than I should. And when me and Rob had the conversation, he was like, bro, why? Not everybody needs to know that. See, and then, like you said, are you open to the judgment that comes with what you said?
So here, go back to. So I just want to, I don't want to say teach you because we probably have already talked about this, but this is one thing. So in purpose,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you believe that your experience can help somebody else out?
Yes.
Tell people the experience. You don't have to say who, but you could tell them the experience. If
Yeah.
you give me permission, I'll guide it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I think the situation that, I was about to say the wrong name. The situation that Zaya is talking about, we were talking amongst friends, right? And Zaya gave little to no information about a situation. And because it was three of us, one of the friends comment in a disrespectful way about the situation, not knowing no information. But previously, I had told Zay, like, look, know who your audience is. Be careful of who you tell this to because there might be judgment behind it, or it might be this person, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They could be wilding. Their
Yeah.
response may not be what you're ready for. And they said something that triggered Zay. So go into what you felt when they said the disrespectful comment.
Embarrassment.
Uh,
Um, and it's funny, I'm saying judged. I felt small.
yeah.
And when we talked about me, him talked about, he's like, Zay, that's all on you.
Yep.
Because you chose to open that door. You could have made a general, what am I trying to say? Gave a general answer to where it wouldn't have fell on you.
Yeah.
But you decided
To let your business out. Make it personal.
Yeah. That's the word I was looking. Make it personal. And you have to be fine with what happens next because you're the one who opened that can of worms.
And you were so pissed at their response.
Yeah.
You were so pissed. But I think previously I had told you, like, I don't, and I said it multiple times, like, look, Zay, I know this is a situation. I don't think that it's best for you to say it in front of this person. Yeah. Like, but you did.
Yeah, caught in the moment.
Drunk minds, sober thoughts.
It really was. It really was.
Mixing liquor.
And damn, we did mix that night.
No, we did not do it.
I did.
Okay.
Now I'm talking.
And this wasn't Monaco.
This definitely wasn't no Monaco. Definitely.
What we have? We had
Duce
and then let go ahead.
Had Ciroc. So, yeah. And like I said, I went in and and this is the thing, me understanding what you said and still thinking it was a safe environment, and me being caught up in the moment said, and I was like, what?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I think that in that moment you were building community.
Yeah.
I think because of the topic of what we were talking about, you had something that could relate and to the topic, and I think you just threw it out unconsciously, not even really knowing what. Like, I don't even want to say unconsciously. Maybe you did know. Maybe, yeah.
I think I'm gonna be honest. In that moment, I did. I'll be honest, and I did, and that was more of I could relate and understand, and kind of wanted to share my experience.
Yep.
To in hopes that, like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But the results were not what I thought would happen in my brain. And I literally set myself up for failure.
But also, my thing is, and I hate to do this sometimes, but like I said, you got to know who you talking to.
Yeah.
You really got to know who you talking to. And I really personally feel like, now let me ask you a question before I even go there. Are you an open person like that to just share your experience? Because I don't see you as that type of person that really talk about personal experience.
Not to that extent. I feel as though with certain people I can be, but it's not with everybody. And I felt in that moment that that's what it could have been. And like I said, I set myself up for failure. And
do you think that that's the reason why moving forward, is it a trigger where it's like, I'm never gonna tell my experience again? Or do you be like, that was just a moment?
I think it's a little of that. It's a lot of that. It's like,
of which one?
Of sometimes feeling I never want to tell my experiences again
because of that type of impact that came back.
It's like
I got to defend something now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think it still plays into the part of the trauma of wanting to be accepted.
Yep.
So it's like,
I was gonna go there, but I was like, I hope he says it because I don't
Yeah.
want to say it.
So it's like wanting to be accepted around, to other people. And it's like, maybe if I share this, we can relate on this level.
Yeah, it'll bring us closer.
It'll bring us closer. Not understand, like you said, I have to know who I'm talking to when I'm bringing up certain things. Because like you tell me all the time, some people don't have the language.
Yeah, everybody ain't there.
So for me, like I could say something to you, right? And you're going to give me every angle, right, wrong, and indifferent. And then there's other people where when they have, like I said, in that situation, I set myself up for failure.
Why do you say that all the time? I
What?
don't give you right, wrong, and indifferent. I give you
No, but I'm
like
saying
this.
when I say you give me every angle,
Okay.
you give me every angle of a situation.
The
And
only reason why I say that is because I've heard you've said that on another episode, but
Mhm.
I'm just curious if that's how you're experiencing it.
What I'm saying
Because
is,
go ahead.
you let me know if I'm right and if I'm wrong, and that's what I mean.
Okay, well then I need to change that because technically I asked you.
And that's what I was going to. That's what I
Okay,
was getting to. You asked me questions.
but do you think that? Are you saying that you discover if you're right or wrong with the questions? Because the way that you're saying it is that I tell you what's right and what's wrong,
No,
and I don't take that.
within the questions.
Okay, because I'm like
No,
I
I'm
don't
not.
want to ever be like
Yeah,
Zaya, you're wrong for this experience. I think
you allow me to find out if I'm wrong or if I'm right.
yeah,
In with the questions and the way you phrase the questions, because
gotcha.
you phrase the questions very specifically when you listen to everything. You're like, okay, Zay, let me ask you this. And then when you ask me a question, I'm like, hmm.
I think that it's funny because it's really making me think like because my favorite line we all know we don't always see ourselves, so this is good for me to hear this again and be like, okay, Rob, when you have conversations with people, how are they receiving what you're saying? Because in my head I'm like,
Yeah,
when I ask you questions about, okay, like how does this make you feel, and then be like, okay, um well, what is the goal,
yeah,
and then also being like, okay, now let me ask you a question. How do you feel? How do you think that this would feel if the shoe was on the other foot?
yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? So whatever your truth is,
Mhm.
that's your business. That's not for me to tell
Yeah,
you if you're right or wrong. I just, sometimes, and I think knowing certain people just don't know how to navigate. Like some people say things in emotion where they be like, and I challenge, as y'all can see, like
you do.
I'm everybody's therapist, so not intentionally, but I mean I appreciate the fact that some people trust me with their experiences, and so I just try to be like, did you act out of emotion? Is this how you really feel? And if this is how you feel, okay, I'm gonna hold you to that, and I hope that you move forward because a lot of people don't understand. You say one thing and then 2 minutes later it's like, oh, you know what? They really wasn't bad. And I'm like, okay, what got us to now they ain't bad? Because
Yeah,
you said this or whatever. And it's like, oh, so y'all had okay, y'all had this type of thing. But see, look, okay, so you do know that's acting out of emotion, right?
yeah. And when I say it the way I say it is because I let you know this, but a lot of people, I'm not the best with navigating certain myself in certain situations. So I would say when we're talking, like you kind of okay, tell me no story. Okay. So when this happened, you're causing me, well, I'll say causing, you're allowing me to kind of understand how to navigate it. And like
Yeah.
you always say, was that, were you speaking on emotion or was there some context to it? And I would let you know. Like, and I could be like, dang, I was really acting out of emotion. I wasn't really, I was going off impulse. And instead of actually internalizing it, understanding it, and then speaking. That's one thing I, excuse me, that's one thing I really have to work on, guys. I'm working on it now. I somewhat still am a very impulsive person. And that's one thing that has gotten me into a lot of trouble and a lot of a lot of situations that I've put myself in. And when me and Rob have had these conversations, now what you would, and he'll be like, "Were you impulsive? Did you react right away?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh man, I think that when when I ask you a question and you respond like that, I'm like, did you even think about the? And then I try to challenge you again, and I'm like, give yourself a minute. And I'm not saying that that can't be the same answer, but give yourself a minute. And do you still feel the same way?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like, well, like, gee, like, but you still got that adrenaline rush. Like you
Yeah.
still telling the story is still in a like
It's
a
fresh still.
triggering.
It's super fresh.
Yeah, and it's triggering because also you know, not you, but some people just want
Yeah.
to be right. And a lot of times I have to repeat back what you said.
And I'll be like, damn.
Like I'm like, so wait, let me make sure I got this right. So you saying, man, and it's like, and then it gets quiet. It gets crickets. I'm like,
Yeah, that's
oh
when
shit, here we go with this shit.
that exact words. Exact words. And
Yeah.
that's, but when you're telling me to take a second to think, you're telling me, Isaiah, breathe and think out and give yourself time to process. Because I'll say this, I'm working on that. I'm not going to say I'm getting better. I'm working on that. I'm in the process of working that. Processing a lot of time for me, it's one step and go. And doing that has put me in a lot of setbacks with my growth. And I'll probably be like, Zaya, did you even think before you said that?
Hell no.
And I'll just be like, literally, like, please think. Okay, think. First of all, relax. Now think about what you just said.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
You ever thought about getting like at this state of where you are? Do you ever thought about getting a therapist? And if you say what your brother said earlier today, trust me, I'm fighting. We fighting.
What you said? What my brother?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god!
I'm telling you.
Have I thought about getting a therapist?
Yeah.
I've thought about it, but have I did it? No.
Okay.
And that's
Am I in the way of your journey of possibly getting one?
no.
Okay.
I think if anything, you've been more pro Zaya. You need to get somebody to talk to.
Your brother and Gia, they had called me earlier, and they were like, well, your brother said, look, I don't need no therapist. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. He's like,
No.
I got you.
No,
And Gia said that too. I'm like,
we had, and the thing, we had that conversation. That was I remember that, and that was a very intense conversation.
I'm trying to get rid of y'all.
We had a very intense conversation about that. And like I said, have I done it? No. But do I need one? Yes. Only because I remember in that conversation, you're like, I'm not saying God forbid anything happening, but I'm not always gonna be around. If you can't call me, then what? And what if I don't want to listen? And what if I ain't got the space to listen?
Do you have any concerns being a black man, or like just with therapy in general?
Me with therapy, yes, and it's because of
My
finding
biggest concern was the money. I'm like,
that was one, but finding someone I feel safe with.
yeah,
And to be honest, it's a total stranger. And I've been in therapy before when I was real younger, and I didn't take it seriously. I was just, why am I here? I don't need it. I was stage where I'm like, I don't need it.
did you need it? Sorry. There we go.
Ooh, I think I did. I believe I did, but I wasn't open to it
Okay.
because of the whole situation of it,
Okay.
the story
The
behind it.
presentation of it.
Yeah, the presentation of it and why I was being sent to therapy at that
Mm,
time.
so it wasn't a you agreed to type of thing.
No, it's like you're going.
See, no, no.
And it was like I didn't get an option on it. And me being spiteful and resentful about the situation I was in, I
Yeah,
just was like, I'm gonna go through the motions. I'm gonna make some stuff up to make it sound good,
yeah.
just so I can, get out of here.
You know what's crazy? My first time going to therapy, I was in a bad state of mind, and
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I had hit at that moment of my life that was a rock bottom,
Mm.
and I went, and I'm so mad about this because if I may be honest, people knew that I needed to go. I might as well just say I was in a suicidal mindset because I was having so much going on around me, and I was fighting like myself internally.
Yeah.
And I remember um, calling a family member for help, and they were like, reach out to this person and get a therapist. And I feel like I went.
Yeah.
Experience was amazing until she said after our session, she was like, okay, we could do a follow up, blah blah blah, whatever, blah blah blah. I went to that motherfucking counter. I felt like I was in there for like 35, 45 minutes. It
Wow.
was like, all right, 190. I'm like, bitch, what?
Jesus.
I was like, I was like, oh, I'm healed. Thank you, God. Like, and then when I told the person that I reached out for the help with, they were like, "Oh yeah, you should go back." And I'm like, "Man, it was so expensive." And then unfortunately, um, and if I may be honest,
Yeah.
they were wealthy, and I think I got I started rejecting therapy because someone that told me that they loved me wasn't even willing to invest in my mental health.
Wow.
So I'm like, I can't afford it. So shit. All right, back in
Yeah.
these streets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That one session did a lot for me, but I just knew I couldn't afford it. 190 for 45 minutes. I'm like, lady, you good. You ain't that motherfucker good. Like,
Yeah.
you ain't the genie. So it's like, gee. So that discouraged me
I definitely. Yeah.
until I hit rock bottom again. And
Mm.
then I was like, okay, I need to do some research.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I agree with you on that because a couple of years ago, I remember I found a therapist. I remember telling you about it,
Yeah.
and I went, and the person that I, was sharing with my therapist, I felt like I told you, I'm like, bro, I did not connect with them. I felt like they were just speaking to me to get paid, and it
Where
did.
what part do you feel like they didn't connect with?
The situations that I was, when I was telling them about myself.
Did you feel a connection with them, or
No,
you felt that they were okay?
no,
So you felt like it was maybe were they white?
yeah,
Oh, well,
but see, here's what it was. Pops had found somebody for me.
okay.
So Pops was like, me and him talk every Sunday. So he was like, Zay, I found a therapist for you. I know you've been, talking about you looking for one. I found one for you. Okay, cool. It's like Christian, all that, cool. And then we did it via Zoom, you know. So and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm still gonna be open minded to it. And I just feel like there was a disconnect when we were talking, and I was just like, but he did. There was helpful information that he gave to me.
Yeah.
It was just I felt that in certain aspects there was no connection at all. That there was no not connection, no understanding at all. No matter how hard I explained or expounded on the situation,
Yeah.
there wasn't. It didn't click at all. But I feel as though now, like I said, I do need one. I do need one.
So I'm gonna say this, and I don't know the difference between having a white therapist, or a black therapist, but for me, I think one of the questions that I feel like is very important, and I think that me and you hear this question all the time. I ask you all the time, Zaya, what do you want?
Yeah.
I feel like when you looking for a therapist, you have to find a connection with whatever that thing may be. So it's like for me, because I wanted a woman and I wanted a black woman specifically because I wanted somebody that can understand my hurt comes um from how can I say this? I don't know how to say it without saying it because I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable fully saying it.
Yeah.
But I needed a black woman because I wanted that motherly feeling.
Yeah.
So when I picked Kim, one, she had to be black, but reading their bio in my head, and I'm not saying that who dad picked wasn't a great person, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's a personal journey where you have to read, connect to what their bio is, what they say
Yeah.
that they specialize in. When I saw Kim, I'm like, ooh, I ain't gonna say what I thought out loud, but I was like, yeah. To be very honest, I was like, she could be like my auntie. She looked like she could be my auntie or whatever. But reading her bio, I felt like there was just a feeling there. And one thing that I felt when I talked to Kim don't hold back. Um, Kim is very gentle, but she's a person of facial expression. Kim don't play no games. But I needed that because one, I come from a very aggressive family.
Yeah.
So my understanding, that's why I like ET. ET will get in your face and it,
Yeah.
it penetrates your mind in a certain way where I'm like, okay, got you. So I needed somebody that may have look like they may have that language of that. And Kim is not aggressive, but Kim has those moments to be looking at you like, oh really? Oh really? Because that's not what you said. And she's somebody that'll hold you accountable.
Mm.
I'm like, that's what I need. Like, if I'm paying you, and it ain't even about the money. If we gonna share this space, like, it needs to be worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think if you ever look into therapy, I think you have to ask yourself, what do I want?
Yeah.
Nobody can pick that for you, I believe. But if you just don't feel comfortable, then okay, then you know what I'm saying a reference is cool. But because Kim may not work for you. Kim's facial expression, you'd be like, oh my God, it just brings me too much anxiety. I can't
Mm.
say that Kim's good just because she's good for me. Kim
What's
is
good for you? What's
it,
good for you might not be good for somebody else.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's dope. Therapy is dope. Like, man, I know that one thing that I have with Kim that I don't have with anybody else in my life is the level of trust that I have in her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's higher than anybody else in my life.
Yeah.
And I think because one, I have told her some shit. I have told her some stuff. And the feedback that she has given me, she hasn't even, I don't, Kim don't really give me advice. She really navigates. She makes me say things out loud. And it's like, damn, you know, when I say it out loud, it actually sounds different. And she's like, yeah, why though? What are you feeling? She asked me questions. Like, it's just dope. Her method is just fire. I
And
recommend everybody getting one.
yeah, and the crazy part about it is the therapist that they sent me to is someone when I was younger is the same therapist that a couple of my relatives use.
Uh,
And the thing with that is, it's like, they've shared their experience of how good this therapist was. But and it was like, you didn't. I'm like, honestly, I was in a place where I didn't really want to receive any of it because I was put in a position to be there. Um, if I'm gonna be honest, I was told I had anger management issues, anger issues,
okay.
and I remember it was more of I wasn't. It was more the reason why they thought I was so angry is because I was never really able to say what I wanted to say, and I think bottling up everything I wanted to say when I wanted to say it just didn't come out right,
Mm-hmm.
and so
So
they
would you curse? Would you be like,
no,
"Fuck you,
no, it was
motherfucker"?
no
Okay.
curse. It was no cussing. No, come on. Nah, it wasn't no cussing. But it was more of I was so emotional because I was never allowed to really speak on how I felt.
Uh huh. So when it finally
Came
it
out
came out like
like an explosion,
mm,
and they equated to it as me being angry. So you're just angry all the time. You got a therapist meeting and such and such. But at the place I was at the stage I was at in my life, I didn't. And I was really young. I think I was still in high school. I think middle school or high school. I didn't really want to be there. You know,
yeah.
I didn't. I felt as though I didn't need it. They're just sending me here to punish me, and
They
you
were
know,
sending you to therapy to punish you.
yeah, that's what I
Apparently.
felt. I
Okay.
felt that at that stage, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do whatever, blah blah blah, to get out of here. You know, woot. I'm gonna say all the right things. You know, oh, it was good. You know, we talked about this. You know, blah blah blah. I feel a little better. You know, going through the motions just so I could be out of there.
So you had to lie to be safe.
Yes, I pretty much.
So you had to lie to actually.
I didn't want the thing. Yeah, I didn't want to be there. I didn't. I felt I didn't need it. I felt I'm like I'm just gonna go back into my bubble, go back to being quiet. I don't need to be here. So I would lie, make up situations, just to make the time pass. And
So wait, can I ask you a question?
yeah,
I'm just trying to make sure I follow. You said that there was things going on, also at school,
yeah.
and then you were sent to therapy because you were angry.
So it was school and at home. It was a
Okay,
combination of both.
so there were things that was going on to make you angry,
It
and
was
so you
so
were sent to a
it was
therapist because of anger.
so it was more of at home, but at school it was I was bullied a lot growing up,
Okay.
and I just internalized it. I had the mask on, bro. Like, nobody would know what was going on me. But at home, like I said, I still felt bullied. I still felt when things were wrong and I wanted to speak on that, you can't say that, you know. And
Okay.
so now I'm stuck in this feeling, and I have to put it down because I can't say that.
Right.
And then when it got to a point where I didn't, of me boiling over, and it just came out, just Isaiah's just so angry. Isaiah's this, Isaiah's that. So that's why I was sent to therapy.
Okay. So I'm okay. So I'm following, but my thing is there was something that happened that made you angry. But were you ever asked why you were angry?
No,
Or okay, so you
no,
weren't asked why. So the only solution is I see you as angry. Go get some help. You need help.
yes,
And it's like, so you felt I don't need to go to a therapist. I'm not even comfortable. No, you're going to, which added more possibly anger to you
yes,
because you're forced.
yeah. It
On top
was
of that, you had to lie in order to get out of this unsafe environment
correct,
and then put back into anger situation. So there was no solution.
correct.
Okay, I was just curious.
And like I said, that was, growing up, me growing up. But I feel as though, like I said, I wasn't in a space where I wanted to receive anything, the therapist had to say. Or I don't think I was prepared to receive anything anybody had to say until I made my move. And I was literally on my own. And sometimes I feel like I didn't have nobody to talk to. And that's when kind of our relationship developed
Uh-huh.
in a way. So now I had someone where stuff was just, and you honestly, bro, you were the first one to kind of like see through it all when we used to have our conversations.
Yeah.
And when you asked me that question that you just said, and this was, the first time you asked me, I was like, I was froze. I was stuck because for the first time, I was being seen and allowed to elaborate on the feeling that I had in that moment. So now that,
Wow.
yeah, so now that I'm being actually able to elaborate, it's like now I'm all tongue tied because I've never been asked that before. So now this
Wow.
is like, this feels, oh my God, this is new. Someone actually cares how I feel in the moment. Someone actually wants to know what was going on with me.
Yeah. I think the funny thing about it is, I mean, that's where I come from too. But I also feel like when you've been through some shit that sound familiar, it's like sometimes you know how to navigate some shit. And
Yeah.
I don't even think one, I wasn't in the space that I'm in now, but it's more or less like I'm still trying to understand like a lot of different things that I went through.
Mm-hmm.
But hearing even a pinch of what you were saying triggered me to be like, oh shit, he's a mirror for me.
Yeah.
So the question that I never was asked also, let me ask him because maybe this will open the door where I could finally tell my story.
Yeah.
So I thought that, and I think that that's low key how we clicked. And I hate to
That's
say it, but
that. Yeah.
unfortunately, what that is, and I don't know, I'm gonna ask Kim, but we trauma bond,
Mm.
and that's not healthy. Well, I'm gonna ask Kim because that's a lot of my relationships with people
Mm-hmm.
is trauma bonding. But I think it also leads into then me feeling like being the fixer. So I think that that's when the problem comes in. But but yeah, that's interesting. Like, and you said high school to do you st- do you still struggle with that now?
What with what? My emotions?
With how does that show up now?
Um, it shows up in a couple different areas. When I'm talking to certain people and I know there's more to it, or even just honestly coming to the realization of things, of certain things that have happened, um, and kind of trying to learn who I am as a person and being triggered all over again.
It's interesting because we talked on this podcast about you shutting down, and it is interesting to hear you say like, I used to be very expressive and da 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 blah blah blah, and it's like really
Yeah,
to go from that extreme to then being so quiet and reserved. It's like,
it was. Ooh, let me take a deep breath on this one. It was a point where I felt like just doesn't matter because nobody really cares. That's where it got to a point where I'm just like, I just got quiet.
I'll just shut up. Like I'll just.
Yep.
Do you feel
Nobody.
like you had to give people what they wanted at that point?
Yeah. I had to wear the mask because it was obvious you didn't really care what I had to say or really care how I felt. So I'm just gonna let you hear what you want to hear and say what sounds good so we can just move on from this. Because apparently it doesn't matter how I feel or what I'm going through in this situation that we got going on. So I'm just gonna give you what you want and be done with it.
How are you dealing with that now? I'm gonna stop with the question.
No. No, it's good, bro. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. I promise you it's good. Because it's helping me at the same time. I'm actually allowing myself to feel. For a long time, I numbed myself because of all of it. And like I said before in the past episode, it became a switch. Well, I just cut it off, keep myself safe so I don't have to feel this feeling. And now that I'm allowing myself to feel, dude, I cry so much. Like I cry so much now. And it's because all from holding all that in and all those emotions that are now just coming up because I stopped myself from doing it so much.
Yeah.
It can be like, I've had conversations with you recently where I'm like, bro, I'm crying right now. And it's not a laughing matter. It's a point where I'm just like, I'm making the choice to allow myself to feel something or to do something different than the norm, even though it's uncomfortable as hell.
Yeah.
It really is to deal with all of this. But in order to get better, you got to go through, right?
Yeah.
So that's honestly, how I've been dealing with it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, look, got me crying right now.
Yeah. I think it'll be extremely hopeful to maybe think about, considering a therapist again.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna say this: it's understandable why you may not want to go down that path, right? Nobody wants to be in a situation where they feel forced, right? Mm-hmm. I want to actually have a choice, but I think also where you are now as a grown man, you can make certain choices and knowing that it's coming from you and you could put yourself in a safe environment.
Yeah.
By choosing, if you do decide, you could choose the therapist that you want. And that's why I say, like, choose the environments that you want to put yourself in. Choose the experiences that you want. You know, and look, I used to have anger problems all the time, as you know. You know, and now I had to make a choice to give myself a choice.
Yeah.
And shout out to the people that gave me room to have a choice, and shout out to Kim that actually keeps reminding me, like, you have a choice now. You know, so yeah, just give yourself a choice in life with everything that you do,
Absolutely.
with everything. And if it makes people uncomfortable, as long as you're comfortable or whatever, it don't have to make sense to nobody but you. But also understand that every action has a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
But it don't have to be your business though either. Like, I make people uncomfortable all the goddamn time. They be like, "Man, Rob, you just say, look, I'm making sure, like, I've spent so much time being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, Rob, can I come? Nope.
Let me ask you this though. Sorry to stop you. But what you say, you used to be so uncomfortable, now that you're comfortable with allowing people to be uncomfortable. How'd you get to that point?
So it started with my aunt. Shout out to my aunt Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a family that you can't say no.
Yeah. Mm.
When I left home, I went to go stay with my friend Gia's aunt. And me and her used to do everything together. And I felt like I have to be of service
Yeah.
to her. So I'll clean up the house. I just need a room. You know, I'll clean up, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll drive you around or whatever. She asked me to take her to the airport, and I was actually tired. And I was like, you know, it's early, and I was like, you know what? It's okay. I'm fine. I'll take you to the airport. I said it exactly like that. She was like, no, no, no. No. I know it's early. I'll figure out a way. Because I had a set of keys to her car, I went upstairs to the room that she gave me,
Mm-hmm.
came back down and brought her keys. She said, "What are you doing?" What? I was like, "I'm gonna give you your keys because I can't take you to the airport." And she was like, "Is there something wrong with my set of keys?" And I'm like, "No, I couldn't. I can't take you to the airport." She said, "Okay." Like, she didn't understand. I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna drive your car if I can't." I thought it had to be a transaction. If
Yeah.
I tell you no, that means I have to take something. And she was like, no, 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 no. I was like, she was like, it's okay if you don't take me to the airport. Like, and I was like, yeah, but aren't you going to take your car? And I literally said that to her. She was like, why? And I was like, Auntie, where I come from, if you say no, you
Yeah.
can't say no.
Yep.
And she was like, we don't do that here. She was like, no, it's just as good as yes. At least I know how to navigate. And
Mm.
when she said that, I literally froze and I got super emotional because something went through my body. And it was like I had a choice to actually say no. After that, the problem was now I'm saying no to every fucking body. And I remember someone telling me, like, once you practice your no, you also have to balance it. Because there are some no's that you actually want to say yes to that you should say yes to. But because you hearing no, you're triggered
Yeah.
and you want to practice your no. But you also have to have a relationship with that word because you're not used to it.
Ooh, you speaking to me again.
So it's like, man, now because I've been doing it for so long now, when people say no, I just smile because I'm I'm giving you the respect of letting you know where I'm at and how you need to move. I'm
Yeah.
not going to just say yes for you to feel comfortable and me to be resentful. I'm tired of resenting shit. Me saying no is not trying to hurt your feelings. Sorry, y'all, the ambulance is coming. But me saying no, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to serve myself.
Mm.
And it's a skill when you learn to listen to your body.
Yeah, I think I'm still. You told, and honestly, bro, I remember you telling me those exact words too. It's okay to say no to me, Zay. It's okay to say no.
And you still don't understand that. And
Um,
that's my
and
hardest thing. We just dealt with something today. And I think my biggest frustration is I know when you are uncomfortable. And that's why even in those moments I challenge you and be like, okay, what's the truth of what you don't want me to know, Zay?
yeah,
And then when you pull out and say it, it's like, okay, like you didn't feel safe to say that. I get it. And I try it, and I try not to lash out on that because I also understand that's a work in progress. But I hope that we get to a place where you don't think that you're disappointing me by saying no, or you letting me down. That's not a thing. And if you have to say no to me, just remember you're saying yes to you.
mm,
Me being uncomfortable could be my trigger from my past life, or you know what I'm saying, things that I left. That has nothing to do with you. Don't make yourself responsible for that. If you are servicing yourself and if you can't do it, say no.
yeah.
I will figure it out. Or I won't figure it out. Or figuring out it means that I don't need to do it right now. And what if you saving my life by saying no?
Wow. Wow.
Servicing you could actually save my life.
Jesus. That is wow. I think I'm still. I feel as though I'm still in my mind. The way if I don't say, and this is ties back to what you said. If I don't say yes, then like you said, I'm either disappointing you. This is just in general disappointing you or letting you down.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never been taught how to say no. Isaiah, can you do this? Yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been allowed to say no.
Yeah.
So being given that choice is kind of like, is this a test? Is it, is this a trick question? But it's my body's, I know, like you said, I have to work on it, but it's my body's natural,
Yeah. Response.
natural response. I'm like, is this a trick question?
Bro,
Is
I ain't gonna die off of a no. It's not the end of the world. I just want you to know that. Because I understand the anxiety that comes with that. And
mm,
the responsibility that you take on when you say no. And the mental capacity of you thinking of, oh well, he thinks this, he gonna say this, he gonna feel like this. I completely understand. But I ain't gonna die. I ain't gonna die. And the one of the best things I did was practice my no. But it's a relationship now. You gotta
yeah,
have a relationship with it.
yeah,
That's why I always try to tell you, take before you answer anything, give yourself a minute. Check in with yourself. You barely tell me no. That's why I don't want to ask you. I don't want to ask you shit because you ain't practiced. You'll know. I
mm,
don't ever want you to be uncomfortable by doing something that I ask that I need a favor for, and we've
yeah,
been there.
yeah,
I'm like, okay, okay. It hurts the fact that you can't communicate that with me, but that's something that I gotta also take in consideration. Rob, you've been there, so give grace, 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 as Katie would say. Grace, 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 grace. And until next time, we appreciate you guys tuning in, continuously tuning in. Um,
Definitely.
we are coming to the end of season one.
Jesus. Yeah.
One, like, man, I think that it's first of all, I've been wanting to do a podcast for a long time. I went through so many different human beings, and who would have known I would have been here with your black ass? Like, who would have known? But
Yeah.
I do feel like God has a plan,
This has been a journey.
man.
This first season has been a journey.
Oh yeah,
And whew, like I said, I've been wanting to do one for a while, and we've talked about it for a while. But in the talking, we never really asked each other, just like, we should do it.
yeah.
Like you always say, timing is everything. And
Oh,
there's a
for sure.
plan, and God has a plan for everything.
Yeah. So make sure y'all hit the subscribe. It's literally right there.
It's free.
It's right there. Don't make me kick your ass.
It's free.
Like,
You ain't got to pay nothing.
look, I ain't asked you for no money. Just push a button.
Push the button.
Look, and if you feel like y'all got something to say to us, look, I'm okay. I'm okay with the 1,000 messages that I'm getting where somebody has a comment. Y'all don't have to comment below. If you feel comfortable, go ahead, but subscribe. That's one thing I'm asking. Subscribe.
And you can also DM us on our Instagram at Drunk Minds Sober Thoughts Pod.
Yes. And we're on we're on Spotify.
Spotify as well.
Christ, I don't even have a monocle. We're on Spotify. And that's it. Yeah, Spotify and YouTube. We're thinking about getting on them other platforms, but it's like we want to master one and then move over to the rest of the stuff.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate y'all being on a journey with us. But until next time, we are out.
Peace.